guys, and welcome to Thought Well by Unacademy, and welcome to our first session on English literature. I am Rinalda and I am going to be helping you all through your classes when it comes to English literature for you ICSE champs. Alright, so in today's session we are first going to be delving into the main do's and don'ts, and we're going to be running through the syllabus and understanding what is it that actually has to be done in order for us to score those marks in English literature. English when it comes to ICSE is not a easy game, right? So it does involve a lot of effort, it does involve a lot of tricks, and sometimes students, no matter how much effort they put in, just manage to go wrong somewhere. Students get lost so much in the tips and the tricks and the secrets of cracking this exam or scoring well in this exam that they actually forget to focus on what the board expects of them. So in today's session, let us look at what the CISCE board, that is the toughest board in this country, actually expects out of its students or expects to see in those answer scripts of its students, especially when it comes to English literature. So let's get started. So what ICSE expects you, that is students, to deliver. Before we try and answer that question, let us first delve into understanding why does ICSE set this tough and rigorous syllabus. Alright, let us try to uncover ICSE's aim, which might somewhere lead us to the answer of this. So by setting such a tough syllabus, speaking of English literature here, the aim of your board should be development and integration of language skills. I know you all must be confused about what exactly am I talking about here, but guys, this is what is mentioned in the official website as well. Now, what exactly is it that we mean by language skills? Alright, here there are 4 basic language skills that we talk about. That would be your listening, reading, writing, and comprehending. So the aim of ICSE, when it sets such a tough and rigorous syllabus for you all, especially when it comes to English, is to develop and integrate your language skills, which are 4, alright, which are the 4 main. So by listening, reading, writing, and comprehending. Now these 4 skills is what you need to deliver here, or the test rather of these 4 skills is what ICSE expects you to deliver in your answer scripts. So it will check if you were listening, alright, because if you have to listen well, be it to your teacher in class or to what I am saying now, you would be able to understand, comprehend. Comprehend over here means nothing but to understand, alright. Reading, of course, that you all would understand. Writing and comprehending, whether it is listening in your class, whether it is reading and understanding whatever you all study in your text, and when it comes to writing, which is going to be tested mainly in your answer scripts, and your comprehending. So these are the 4 main tricks of the trade that you all have to understand here, that ICSE is gonna test in your answer scripts. Alright, so ICSE expects you to deliver all these 4 in a very precise way, of course in alignment with the syllabus provided. Alright, so that is trick number 1. Alright, so coming to the syllabus, y'all do have to understand the syllabus, and y'all do have to have the syllabus on your fingertips, be it of English literature or your other subjects. Alright, so understanding the syllabus is very important, because if you fail to do that, you will fail to understand where exactly is it that you stand when it comes to studying, all right, or when it comes to organizing where and what you have finished, all right. So keep that in mind first, because many students who I have come across as well have even carried forward their 9th syllabus, like they don't even know the acts that are included and excluded when it comes to Julius Caesar of William Shakespeare. So do keep this in mind, guys, but nevertheless I am rushing you all through it. So if you all don't know the syllabus till now, take it down from here as well and keep it in your mind, all right. So class 10, speaking of your drama, you do have Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare, and you have acts number 3, 4 and 5, and treasure chest. And your poems, you have 5 short stories and 5 poems, which is very easy, guys. So all that you have to focus on is your drama, which is number 1, where you have 3 acts, and then you have your prose, that is your short stories. You have 5 short stories and you have 5 poems. So in total you have 5 poems, 5 short stories and 3 acts from Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. So that is something that you can cover, guys, all right. So keep this in mind. And when it comes to your syllabus, 3 tricks that I would suggest, or 3 must-dos. First, remember or by heart the author's names. Second, read everything. And when I say read everything in your syllabus, guys. It is very important, because y'all get extracts that are centrally taken from the text and put in your question paper, and they will not mention the short story or the act's name. They will not mention the poem's name, or they will not mention the author's name. So you will have to read all your short stories, you will have to read all your poems, and you will have to read all the 3 acts of your drama precisely and know where what lies, because y'all will get extracts from the text that are just taken and put in your question paper, and y'all will be asked questions out of them, all right. And after reading everything, third one is to understand everything. Understand everything that y'all are reading. And if y'all don't understand, you can always look for, the simplified summaries, just for an understanding, okay. Look at the summaries, look at the plot plays for an understanding purpose, but after reading. And of course the classes that are going to be coming by Thought Well by Unacademy is going to help you all right. So until then, do read everything clearly and gain an understanding of it, because what they are going to test in the exam is your understanding of everything that they have mentioned, all right. So moving forward, so like I said before, read and understand everything that you study. That is very important, guys. I'll tell you another trick, all right. So trick number 2 here would be developing an understanding of your own and developing critical thinking towards whatever you read in your, be it drama or in the poems or in the short stories, is very important, because the examiner is going to look somewhere for your opinion of the same, all right. Because your questions are definitely going to be based on, what you think of the scene, or what you think of the poem, or what you think of the short story. So do make sure to develop a sense of critical thinking, or to develop a notion of your own when it comes to, be it your drama, be it your poem or the short story, okay, individually as you read it and as you understand. So that would be trick number 2. To critically analyze. Alright, and your trick number 3 would be to solve previous year questions, because see, there are questions that are repeated as well, but that should not be taken for granted, all right. There are questions, there are types of questions that would be repeated year after year, especially when it comes to English literature, but that you can use only to gain an idea of how to go about your questions or how to go about your answer writing, all right. So solve PYQs when it comes to your English literature as well, just to get an understanding, because there are many questions that are repeated, all right. So take that to your advantage and try to know and understand what are the kind of questions that are being asked in the examination, all right. Because one thing I will tell you, okay, when it comes to this critically analyzing, if the examiner looks at the answer script of student, you say student X and student Y, and if student X has put down, you know, a line by line mugged up version of, you know, be it the poem or the short stories or the drama as well, the examiner might give that student marks. But if the examiner sees the answer script of, you say, student Y, who has seemed to write the answer in his or her own words, but which makes sense, the examiner will understand that the student has gained an understanding of whatever is given in the text or in the poem, all right. So that is one thing that you all do have to keep in mind, that the examiner is smart, and the examiner looking at your answer script is gonna know whether you have read the text, whether you have read the poem, or whether you have read your drama or not, all right. So keep that in mind as well. That would be a trick number 4. That is not to mug but understand, because the examiner is definitely the person evaluating your paper is definitely going to know whether you have read the text or not. So read the text, guys, all right. So that would be what I would tell you. Critically analyze everything, solve PYQs, not to mug but understand, all right. So let's move forward. Analyze, like I said, critically analyzing as well, but here what I'm talking about is analyze the themes, analyze the characters, the literary devices and author styles. But now you all would know what these are. So themes are the underlying message that is being conveyed to the reader, all right. So I will just write it down for you all. Themes are basically the underlying message of the story, poem, etc. An example of a theme, you say, when it comes to, let me take Julius Caesar for example. What do you all think would be the theme in Julius Caesar? I hope you all have at least one theme popping up in your head. You say, you can easily say that it can be, speaking of Julius Caesar, I'm just writing JC, it can be loyalty versus betrayal. That's one. The second can easily be fight for political supremacy. Fight for political supremacy, easy, right? So this is an example of what you mean by themes, guys. Characters, understanding all the characters of, be it your drama, your prose or the poems, okay. For example, again I'll take the example of Julius Caesar here. You all would have to understand the characters of sad Caesar himself, Caesar, Brutus, etc. And you all would also have to know what their characters are like according to the situation in the particular scenes of the acts as well, right? So you all will have to pay attention to characters. When it comes to literary devices, now authors do use literary devices like, literary devices are easy. I'm guessing you all have it in your English language as well. You all have literary devices like imagery. What are imageries? An example of an imagery would be let's say a poet saying the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. So the poet is giving you an imagery in that line, right? The grass is greener. So that would be an example of an imagery. Other than imageries, you have hyperboles. What are hyperboles? Me saying it's raining cats or dogs. Now that is a hyperbole. That is like an exaggerated description. So anything that has an exaggerated description or comparison would be a hyperbole. Now it can't literally rain cats and dogs, can it? And other than hyperboles, you have metaphors that are comparisons, metaphors, ironies, etc. Alright. So these are just examples of literary devices. And then you have author styles. What do you mean by author styles? Guys, I hope you all don't literally think that I'm talking about William Shakespeare's hairstyle or something. Of course not. Lame, sorry. By author style, I mean writing style. You all do have to understand this, because mentioning it in your answers would definitely fetch you all marks. See guys, there are authors have four main ways of writing. I mean, four main styles of writing. That can be narrative. Then you have persuasive, or descriptive, right, etc. And speaking of William Shakespeare, when it comes to Julius Caesar, so William Shakespeare, his writing style for Julius Caesar was in that of verse. So do remember this. His writing style when it came to Julius Caesar was verse. So remember this. You all would have to remember the writing styles, themes, characters, literary devices, because you all can use it in, not can, you all have to use it in your answer writing, because it will fetch all marks, guys. So keep this in mind, keep these in mind, follow it, practice answer writing, read your text, know what is it that ICSE actually wants. This is what it actually looks forward to in your answer scripts. The understanding of the text, the understanding of your literary devices, the characters, the themes, the writing styles of the author, understanding what is it that the board actually expects to see on your answer script is what you need right now, and you need to deliver it. All right, so these are the main points that students actually ignore and fail to get those marks only because of this slight ignorance, guys. So now, since y'all already know about it through this video, do follow it and keep this in mind. All right, so now coming to the exam paper pattern, I'm not going into the kind of questions that we will do in the next session, but now just telling you all how the questions are gonna be like in your sections. All right, so this I've taken a part of this year's ICSE English Literature paper of 2024. So like you all know, the maximum marks are 80. You all are allotted 2 hours. All right, so the paper has 4 sections, that is A, B, C and D, and all questions in section A must be answered. All right, section A is compulsory. You must attempt one question from each of the sections B, C and D, and one other question from any section of your choice. All right, so remember this, guys. I will write it down here for y'all. So y'all have 4 sections which are your section A, B, C and D. Section A, all questions compulsory. All right, all questions you have to attempt all. From section B, you have to attempt 1, section C 1, section D 1, and then you have a choice of answering any one question from a section you prefer. Alright, so again you have 4 sections, that is A, B, C and D, and all questions from section A are compulsory. You have to answer one question from B, C and D each. You have to answer one question from B, one question from C and one question from D, and you have a choice of attempting one more question from either of the 3 sections, that would be B, C and D. Alright, that is your choice, so keep this in mind as well. So until then guys, thank you, stay tuned, revise and have responsible fun. Like I always say, this isn't tough, just follow what I asked y'all to and y'all will definitely ace this exam. Alright, so believe in yourself, read those texts, read those poems, prioritize this exam right now. Alright, because you'll have little more time. Believe in yourselves, do well, prioritize, be smart, do not stress, be calm, and we are always here to help y'all. So let's meet in our next session. Until then, let's crack it. Bye guys.